Chapter 77. The Harm of Modern Sport to Humanity. You're playing down the sport achievements that you have made into a dirty business by traumatizing athletes with stimulating additives and harmful ideas. And to make the athletes into thinking men animals, you have set up big preparatory teams, different coaches, doctors, psychologists, massagers, managers, drivers, and many other support people, so that your man-robot would show the best possible performance and would bring a profit into your own personal pocket. And chemical factories make their own contribution to this dirty business by manufacturing, against the Father's will, such products that suppress the brain activity by artificially stimulating blood and muscle activity within an otherwise already exhausted body of this man-robot, who does not think about the deeper consequences to himself and even to all humanity. And you have subdued your undeveloped mind to such functions that these events would be seen by the greatest possible number of spectators. And you have even designed for the purpose the copyrights to show them for enormous money to the whole world by means of just one television company. And by this, you do desire to involve even a bigger number of people in the participation of this absurd and man-degenerating performance. And it starts affecting, to a very high degree, the subconsciousness of the children who watch these spectacles, because they also gradually begin to desire this sort of glamour. And as they grow, their parents make their own contribution to this end by stimulating their children's attitude, already distorted. To this end, once they offer their own concepts as to how their children might find a better place in their life. Therefore, the whole system of any competition currently in existence is harmful to all people, starting with the psyche of children and ending with that of the grown-ups. And it is degrading their consciousness to the low vibration level that is destructive to the soul and that is killing their own inner peace, and from which it is becoming even more difficult to rise. When I lived in the flesh, still as a child, I visited, together with my father, the Greek city of Skythopolis. That was the first big city that I had seen. My father was showing me the beauties of the synagogue, but I took notice of the youth sport games taking place at that time. And I asked my father to take me there to watch them. My father, like all the Jews, looked upon any physical competition of the Gentiles with contempt. They considered that for those who believe in Yahweh, it was inappropriate to care for so undivinely for their physical beauty and compete. However, after my steadfast persuasion, my father gave in. We went to the amphitheater of Skythopolis, where the youth sport games were taking place. And I was thrilled by them so much that after the games, I even offered to arrange similar sport competition for the youth in Nazareth. I had never seen this sort of competition before, because nothing of the kind had ever taken place in Nazareth. And it really appeared to me that our boys would enjoy it very much. However, my father flared up at me so much that he lost all his self-control and started shouting at me, "What liberties do you permit to yourself? You the ignorant, do you think that our chosen people of Yahweh might be seeking after such ungodly, invented by the Gentiles, absolutely inappropriate to us, mean sights? I do not want to hear from you a word about similar games staged in Nazareth." I was stunned by my father's behavior, since Joseph was a loving father and of a calm temper. And here he was flaring up with such thunder on the head of the 12-year-old boy that I could not recognize him, and I could not support his thoughts. However, my idea that such competitions which are currently being held are unnecessary and even harmful to humanity by no means match the quality of Joseph's idea that no games are necessary. Games must go on. They are necessary, only they need an absolutely different quality. They must be staged for a pleasant inter-association rather than competing for prizes, for money. There must be no estrangement after the competition. After some sport event is completed, the athletes must sit down together and share their experiences as to how they have participated in the event, what they have achieved and what they have failed to achieve, and why, what they can tip each other in order to show a better performance. And there must not be such a strict separation of spectators from the athletes. Spectators must be allowed to walk freely and stop wherever they want to listen to the conversations among athletes. And they might also express their own ideas as to what they enjoyed in the event. The core of any competition must be inter-association. It is not a striving for the goal, a victory at any cost, even at the cost of degenerating man, of becoming a robot, but rather the very process that contains in itself both participation in the sport event and the discussion of it among themselves, and together with spectators, that makes the soul more lively than merely a momentary joy to a small group of people. And the time shall come when the dirty, harmful, and destructive business of sport disappears due to your opened up soul, as it shall experience the love of the Father, and by no means it shall be able to participate in this immature action that today makes up all sports competition, beginning at school and ending at what you call the top-level professional sport. By this sort of competition, you are chopping off the branch you are sitting on.